Hey there folks, it is game number 3. I've been watching the start of all these games. I think Morrow actually does a manual split. Because I'm pretty sure you can turn that off in your controls. Up against a Liquid hero who's taken a pretty commanding lead so far in this series. With two fairly different games. A pretty fast game number 1 with a very, very aggressive protoss. Game number 2, the protoss kind of sat back, faked a bit of pressure, and went for a fast third nexus, and we saw the infamous Terran SCV pull, which managed to get him an economic lead, but ultimately his tech wasn't right for dealing with a very aggressive storm-based protoss who moved into Colossus. We actually saw a command center first essentially go unpunished for Morrow in game number 2, and I wonder if he's considering going for the same opening again. He did it on Habitation Station, which is a very fast, scoutable, pressurable map. So we'll see if he's going to go for the same kind of piece just because of how unpunished it was. Neither would surprise me. Gateway first on this side. I think Hero is perfectly fine to open up fairly standard and then be able to change his play based on what he scouts. If he's got an early game pressure build in mind, it doesn't necessarily always matter what your opponent's doing. But I do like players that can go out, do a bit of a scout, see what they're up against, and then decide how they're going to be able to move out from there. That used to be the big like Zerg mantra. Is essentially, I'm just going to be as economic as possible, scout when pressure's coming, and then I will do something about it. Very reactive in that sense until you get into the later games and you can dictate the pace. It's nice seeing other races do that as well. So we're actually going to have a Morrow go out for a scout earlier here, and we're not seeing an earlier scout from Hero. Couple gases, cybernetic score. So I'm kind of sensing there might be some sort of pressure. You generally, as I had said, don't need to scout as much if you've already got your own kind of pressure build worked out. Do we see the next pylon go down anywhere? I think that pylon was a little bit delayed, if I had to guess. Got Chrono Boost saved up and resources to be able to build probes. Maybe it's because he made the Zealot and necessarily wasn't expecting to. So he'll be a supply block for just a moment. Now back on this side, we actually didn't get a Reaper coming out. We just saw the scout from the SCV. And instead, we'll get double Reapers now. Cool. Mothership core and Stalker are on the way. So Hero's building like the exact right units for this. The problem is hopefully he doesn't move out for that classic. Nice control. That classic Stalker. He is going to go for the classic Stalker, Zealot, Mothership core pressure. Oh, at least he's making a Stalker, because the problem with doing this, he's moving out with everything that's going to be able to defend his units back at home. Reapers are actually rallied to the front right now. Might be to deal with this Zealot that's coming across the map, but the Mothership core will be timed pretty close with this and the Stalker. So this might be a little bit disappointing for the Terran player to see these units coming across here with the Mothership core that's going to have a recall here pretty soon. This is actually pretty cool. There is a bunker going down. This is actually really, I'm not going to say it's strange. This is the kind of play I do when I play Terran against Protoss. Looks like he'll maybe. I thought sneak one of these guys out just to go for a scout-a-majiggy. One of the other Stalkers is over here now. Hero loves his Mothership core pressure. Might try to go up the front at the same time. A lot of Marines have been pulled over here. He's actually just going to bum rush into the map. This is really crazy. Now, the Reaper goes down, but these Stalkers might be forfeit here. One gets surrounded, the other one gets shut down. He's costing a ton of mining time, but there's another command center already finished for the Protoss player. Sorry, for the Terran player. Looks like Hero was just macroing for a second there. Mothership core is back on the scene. Will actually get himself another kill. Oh man, that guy's got an hit point left. And that one Marine comes out to be a hero. So now this Reaper that I've been not paying attention to this whole time has got 5 kills already. And Hero only got 3. units-wise, the Protoss is in the lead, but the Terran's already got another command center down. What was this? Twilight. Maybe a DT. Maybe a DT here. The Nexus is going down. Terran will scout it. That was just a really strange and kind of awkward pressure from the Protoss, but it was like the perfect response from Morrow to pull those SCVs, surround all the Stalkers, because they will kite your Marines forever if you don't otherwise. So he dealt with that quite well. Engineering bay going down. Have more barracks, 3 racks opening once again, and the command center, which is already in orbital, will float over. Reaper is scouting around, probably looking for any pylons that went across the map. Twilight is actually going to be getting Blink, so this might be a 2-base Blink follow-up. He's pretty far behind in his tech and economy, though, so I would be a little surprised. It might be just for dealing with drops and moving into the natural tip-top hero control that he uses to be able to keep himself alive through the mid-game. We shall see. Now, the 3 racks opening here might let the Terran player go for some pressure here pretty soon. He's a long ways off having medevacs. And the Mothership core is going to have quite a bit of energy kicking around back at home here. I love the rallies that Hero sets up here for his patrols. They look so funny. So, with Chrono Boost, we can see that the Terran player, because he's had his command center down first, slightly ahead in workers. And we'll see how well that catches up. Just a small platoon of army moving out here. Might be able to force out a photon overcharge. There's a lot of discussion that it's actually very valuable to keep forcing those out because that can deny so much pressure. At the cost of some of your units, I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. See how well Hero's paying attention to here. Stim is not done. He does see these units coming and will back off immediately. That's enough army that I think he could potentially just fight these units rather than use a photon overcharge. More Terran units are moving across the map, or back. Okay. Wow, that pylon is just outside of range. Might want to try to warp in a couple Zealots for a run by here while there's pressure happening. How many gateways are we up to? Bunch more going down now, so we'll be going up to 6, it looks like. Stim still a little ways away from being finished here. Not the best pylon placement, I must say. That's a pretty good sized Terran army that's already out here. Lots of sentries in place. Not the best time warp, unfortunately. Blink is finished, though. So it depends on how aggressive he wants to be. He might be able to throw those Stalkers into the base. Hit a few units. There we go. Now he's got to be very careful that he doesn't get attacked on 2 sides at once here. A little bit of sexy blink control, why not? These sentries are in a kind of a perilous spot, I would say, right now. Be very careful with those getting sniped from the low ground, particularly... Ooh. Don't lose the Mothership core. Actually, he's not focusing down the Mothership core. He's going to get himself a couple of sentries. Taking out the Mothership core, I think, would have been smarter because that's his high ground vision. And blink. There, blink. Nice photon overcharge. Stim is finished now. Mothership core does have enough for another time warp. Doesn't want to use it just yet. Few hurt Stalkers in the front. Probably could be microing some of those away. Some SCVs have to get pulled, so he's going to lose a few units. Mothership core looks like it is going to go down. So that means whatever damage we can get done now from Hero is essentially all the damage he's going to get. Sentries once again should be pulling out. So that's bought a pretty good worker lead for the Protoss player. 44 to 39. With the mules, it makes it fairly even. Lots and lots of energy on this Nexus here for him to be able to use on some of these upgrades. Does the Terran have any upgrades with this army as of yet? He's got +1. Medevacs are out now. We have an earlier Robo on the way this time. Couple Stalkers kind of fumbling around a bit. This is a nice thing to do if you think you're going to be attacked. Just slow down the armies as much as you can. Knock down the rocks along the way. Army is actually splitting up. But no, this one's just going looking for pylons. And he does find the proxy. There's only that one pylon out for the Protoss player. So that should simplify things a bit. Gonna go for a Phoenix Scout. Zealot charge. A little bit more than 3/4 done. This is the difficult point kind of as a Protoss player where there will be more drops happening. Blink is finished, but it's so important for the Terran player to be able to use these multi-pronged kind of harasses. And Morrow, other than his one Doom drop in Game 2, has not been really taking advantage of any type of aggressive drop styles. Combat Shield's about to finish up here pretty quick, but we're going to get to +1 attack for the Protoss finishing up here as well. Looks like he might want to do a rock drop on this, but the Terran army is just going to take the long way around. Feel cool about it. Protoss will shoot down the rocks and then realize that doesn't matter. That's really funny, actually. Big blink. Now there's the balance. He does have a photon overcharge ready. He casts it really early just to make sure that there's no pressure that way. Lots of stalkers on the high ground. Snipe off any type of medevacs. And now we have 1-1 finished. 2-2 started on this side. So he's going to have a pretty good upgrade lead on the Terran player here in the next minute or two when those finish up. Earlier Colossus this time, we're not going for the storms. Grabs himself an observer. More reinforcements are streaming across the map right now for the Terran. With a charge now finished up, it doesn't look like the Terran really wants to deal with this. Snipes a couple of free units there. It's always something. Forces a bunch of stims out. I don't know how much further the Protoss player... Wow, super aggressive. He's going to lose himself a handful of stalkers doing that. But now the Zealots are really closing in. What he wants to do is get the medevacs. It's the expensive thing here that he wants to be able to deal with. Oh, son of a bitch. Alright, I'm gonna apologize right now. I didn't even notice that was happening. I'm gonna back up a couple times because I was watching the army attack. Now let's just see. He's at 25 workers killed. SCVs get pulled against the 1-1 Zealots. Does a bit of a mineral walk. So that worked pretty good, and he will actually get this other command center, it looks like. Pretty good force fields this time here out of Hero. Nice hot pickup. And he's actually going to use the force fields to just escape out of here. He did a lot of the damage he wanted to. Denied to the third base. The difficulty right now, though, is that there's no third Nexus on the way for the Protoss player. He's up a lot in overall worker count. But without that other Nexus on the way, it's going to be more important for him to either do damage soon, have a really convincing fight, or get himself his own third base, such as that. 2-2 on the way for the Terran. Unfortunately, he's going to be quite a ways behind the Protoss player. If he takes a fight here soon, he's actually probably going to be in a lot of trouble. Zealots with a charge and the upgrades to damage will do very well. Thermal Lance, a little bit more than halfway done. So the Protoss player is about to hit a really, really important timing. So the Terran player might be able to just get a free kill on this Nexus. This isn't too shabby. Does get the cancel though, will save himself a few bucks. Something's happening down here. Oh, picking off a few things. It's a sucky thing about the Protoss player. You can't just like build a Nexus and then float it over when you feel safe. That one Stalker was on a mission to make that factory burn there. What the hell? That guy was in a rush too. Do you have another Nexus going down? Morrow's got a big supply lead, but tech-wise, he's just getting out his Vikings. So these Colossus, there's I think just the 2 right now. Oh, there's 3. Some Archons in the mix. It's a pretty good tech army right now from the Protoss player. We'll see if Morrow can get the right kind of attack. He needs to really spread out well and not fight in the choke up there where he's going to be really on top of himself. Mothership core goes down pretty cheap. A little bit unfortunate there. Not a giant army from the Protoss player. It's enough to kind of threaten a bit. Hero's infamous Stalker Blink Dance. Another Mothership core is getting made along with more Colossus. Only have the 2 Vikings right now. Third just popped. Got to keep those in production. Lots of Colossus that will tear through his army really fast. It seems like the Terran player's in a good spot, right? Overall, like, he's evened out the economy. They're both at 50. He's got a larger army. His upgrades are behind. It's 3-3 against, well, 3-3 is on the way, versus, 3-3 isn't started for the Terran. And Morrow's gonna get very defensive again, it looks like, potentially here. Cancels that bunker. I think he needs to find some ways to be a little aggressive, go for a few drops. This Protoss army is in one big blob. There's no defenses at all. Just a few drops might just be enough to get your opponent a little bit off guard, force out a few, cannons here and there, keep a few stalkers, some zealots, and maybe a few high templars at home, just so this Protoss army isn't such a blob of death. Get them a little bit concerned about leaving some area behind to deal with drops. One medevac full of stim marines will kill everything in the world. Terran player is about to max out. Ghost Academy is on the way. A little bit more delayed than last game, but we don't even have Storm Tech finished. Archives is done, but no Storm research. I'm sure Hero's just kind of interested in getting out that huge tech as well. Lots of Zealots, well upgraded on the ground. Maybe a few more Archons in here wouldn't be too bad, just to be able to deal with the Viking numbers and splash against some of the bio. Oh, there's the High Templars. And there's the Archons. See, I know what I'm talking about once in a while. Another command center on the way. Morrow's in a pretty good spot, but this is all being observed right now. He's actually going to sacrifice a few SCVs. He doesn't have that many, I didn't think. He's only have 54. But he wants to get a few ghosts out. 3-3 on the way for the Terran. Slight window of opportunity here for the Protoss going with the upgrade advantage. Now the 3-3 is about to finish up. Brand new Mothership core that Hero will probably throw away again because he loves doing that in his attacks. Just outside of the range here. So the Terran doesn't know where his opponent's army is yet. Just knows about this little handful of stalkers, which I'm surprised Hero doesn't want with the rest of his army. There we go, now they're with the rest of his army. He's actually got some hallucinated Colossus in the front here. That's really clever. You see they're taking most of the shots right now from the Vikings. He hasn't killed any of the real Colossus yet. Colossus are getting a little screwed up though. That's a problem with Colossus. They love attacking buildings that are nearby, but that was so much death. Oh man. Morrow missed a big control opportunity there. See, the Colossus aren't attacking army, they're just attacking buildings like rejects here. Pretty good blink attack. Hero obviously has some opportunity to warp in some units at home. But I don't think Morrow can go for a base trade. Hero's just got such a sweet army that Terran player will not be able to kill. This base looks like it will go down. There is another Nexus on the way for the Protoss, so he's not going to be in too crappy of a position. There's no way that the Terran player is going to be able to deal with this army. I've been in these situations a lot as a Terran player. Like, you know what, I'm going to pick up everything I have and just try for the base trade. But I don't think there's any opportunity. He didn't kill enough of this army to be able to pull it off. Vikings are going to get shot down here pretty quick. Almost grabs maybe one Colossus. Does go into the main base to try and get some damage done, but it's not hitting the critical tech. Surprised these guys haven't made it to Archons. Get some feedbacks in first, I suppose. It's not as close of a base trade as I think it kind of looks. And yeah, there's Morrow, who does a back out there, and that means it's a clean sweep for a Liquid Hero in this series. SeKo Starcraft, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll talk with everybody later.